Residential schools were established in Canada in the 1870s, and the last one closed its doors in 1996. There were over 130 schools across the nation, and they were filled with over 150,000 First Nation, Métis, and Inuit children that were forcibly put there. The schools were funded by the Canadian government, and they were operated by the Christian churches. The children that went to the schools were stripped of their identities by their hair being cut, traditional clothing being burned, and their native tongues being beaten out of them. The residential school system committed cultural genocide by forbidding the children to speak in their native tongues and making them speak only English. They also converted them into Christianity, forbade them to practice their traditions, and they were told that their culture and belief systems were wrong. When the children left the school, they found it difficult to connect with their peers on the reserves that they lived on. Former students of the residential schools took the Canadian government and the churches who operated the schools to court. This created the Indian Residential Schools Settlement Agreement, which has been named Canada's largest class action settlement. This settlement agreement was created to try and repair the abuse and harm that the residential schools created, and also to give compensation and recognition to the students who had previously attended the schools for their suffering. The settlement also invented the Truth and Reconciliation Commission of Canada, or the TRC for short. That would have a total budget of $60 million. The government's main goal was to discover what really went on in the residential schools and to inform Canadians of the damage that was done. The information was uncovered from testimonies and records from former students, teachers, and other people that were affected by the schooling system. The TRC encourages all who were affected to come together to restore the relationship between the Indigenous community and the Canadian government. The government made its formal apology to the Indigenous community on June 11, 2008. Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is working with the Pope to make another formal apology on behalf of the Christian churches to the Indigenous people across Canada. The churches made an apology in the past. However, it was considered insincere and was not accepted. Survivors of the residential school system have reportedly been diagnosed with several mental disorders, including PTSD, depression, anxiety, etc. This has led to the abuse of drugs and alcohol, as well as their children. As a result, the children of the survivors have also developed mental disorders due to the trauma caused by their families. They are also prone to violence against others and themselves, like suicide, for example.